Hey guys, today I'm going to do another tutorial that was requested by a subscriber on YouTube, and this one involves an ice chest that he is looking at mounting casters on. And he actually sent me pictures of what he's looking at trying to model. This is the chest here. Here's the caster plate. This is specifically what he's looking at me modeling. I'm going to model the entire thing, save for the external details that aren't really necessary to what he's looking for. We'll get to these and I'll show you how to do these. These are, you can do these several different ways, and it all really depends on how the part is going to be manufactured. I'm going to do it the way I would think it would be manufactured. I could be wrong, and I'm sure Tim will let me know if that's the way it was done or wasn't done, but either way, just like in real life manufacturing, there's 100 different ways to do something in SolidWorks. So let's start a new part. I also figured I'd model the entire chest too, just to do a brief sheet metal tutorial, since I don't think I've done any sheet metal yet. Let's start out with I'm already underneath the sheet metal tab, if you can see. So if you don't have that yet, if you don't have a sheet metal tab, you can right click underneath where these tabs are and you can add it. So you can see mine's check marked. I don't have a few other things checked which I'm not using at the moment, so check that. Then we're going to go under base flange, which is essentially an extrusion, and I'm going to sketch on the right plane. And then go under your sketch tab and sketch just like you normally would. I'm going to make this chest 2 feet. Oops. 2 feet by 2 feet. And then chamfer the edges. Make them 6 inches. Now, I'm just going to update my sketch, and you'll see that it automatically is looking for a wall thickness for the material, and I'm going to do an 1/8 inch. I think in the pictures it does look a little thinner than that, but I'm going to use my best judgment. My company that I work for makes quite a few sheet metal components, and 11 gauge or around 1/8 inches typically what we use for items like this, so I'm going to go with that. Now I'm going to create the top flange. Let me bring the pictures back over. This flange, the fold here, and the fold here, I'm going to create on this one part, so it'll be this lip. And I'm going to do that by starting an edge flange and then just clicking the edge that I want to come off of. I want to go this way with it, and I can define the length of that, which I'll say 1.5 inches. And then if you look at the options down here, this is going to dictate how it's bent. So if I know that the top of this piece that I dimensioned is the absolute top of the component, I can tell it to bend below that line. And once I hit OK, it drops the bend down, and this top is maintained at 24 inches. Now I'm going to do another edge flange on the bottom lip here, and bring that down, and we'll call that 1 inch. Alright, so that's 1 inch, and then I'm also going to keep the bend on the inside of the outer extent of the piece. Hit OK. And this is one wall of our ice chest. So I'm going to do a file, save, and that's my work folder for my stuff. I'll just make a new thing in here called tutorials. And part 2 is fine. I was playing around earlier, that's why part 1, yeah, we'll just make it part 1. Okay, next piece is the side walls here and here, and if you, let's see if I got a better angle of this. Since the profile is more or less rectangular, and by that I mean the surface area, I'm going to draw this entire thing as one piece and then bend it. So in order to do that, I'm going to start a new file, and I'm actually going to borrow the sketch from this part. Let's take the whole thing, copy it, and paste it into my new part. Right side, paste it, move it on to the origin here, make it coincident. Oh, there we go, now it's fully defined. This edge I don't need, so I'm going to turn that into construction geometry. And then I'm going to add some sketch fillets, which are going to be my bend radii. Make them 1/4 inch. Might need to go a little bigger than that. Let's do 3/8. And then hit OK. Now it sees that entire sketch profile as a formed sheet metal part. So I have to define my wall thickness, which is good, and then I just want to make sure that it's actually going in the correct direction, which it is. So then at that point I tell it how far I want to go, which let's do 6 feet, and we'll make it mid-plane. Looks good. Now we're going to do our flanges again. And for this I can actually click this edge flange, drag it out, click this edge flange, drag it out. It'll be the same size. We did 1.5 inches before, so we'll do 1.5 inches again. And then make sure it's below. Yep, good. Click OK. Now I'm going to add another edge flange to this edge. Come on. My mouse is tweaking out. There we go. One inch inside. Okay, now we're going to save this. Now we're going to make an assembly from this part. And I think I mentioned in my assembly video, if I want the origin of this part to be shared with the new assembly I'm making, once my assembly window is open and parts selected that I want to drag in, I'm just going to hit the check mark. And it automatically centers and locates this to share the assembly origin with the piece origin. Now I need 2 of part 1. So I'm going to place that one, hold control down, grab part 1 and drag off of it. That'll give me a second one. And then I can mate those up. And I can actually use my datum planes to mate those now, since I located this piece central to the origin. So I can do front plane, flip it. That's good. And then do this surface and the edge surface of this. Good. Top of this flange and top of this flange. So now those pieces are butted up, and realistically I should have went oversized with this piece so that way you could get a good fillet weld in between the 2 grooves of these, but this will work too. A butt weld is also common, so it's not a big deal. Now we're going to mate the other piece, other side. Top of the flanges. Okay, so now you'll notice one key thing I'm missing here is the cornered piece. And I'm going to show you why I skipped that initially and how we're going to actually add that in. So we'll go back in here, and when you create edge flanges, you're actually creating a sketch that SolidWorks sees to drive this. So what you can do is you can open up your edge flange feature and edit the sketches that make that piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to modify the flange to look like this. Make these 2 lines equal. Oops. We want to define this first. Otherwise our sketch is going to move. So we're going to make these equal. I'm going to make this a construction line now. And do the same thing over here. Make them equal. And make this one a construction line. Save it. No, I think I broke it. Might not want to do that for me. Okay, let's change this a little bit. I think due to the fact that this is coming off of this edge here, it doesn't exactly know what to do with this. So what I'm going to do is I guess we'll trim it off, and I'm going to come up a little bit off of my edge there, trim this, and create a solid line that's connecting those. And we'll make this 1/64 of an inch, so you'll barely see it. And still make this equal to the overall length of this. And I'll actually trim this off and just mirror that one over the center. it should work. I think it's having issues with the bend radius, so maybe I need to make this at least half the bend radius. Sketch contains a zero length enemy. Let's just undo all of this. Kind of curious as to why that's not working out for me. But that's fine, we can actually do it a different way. It's still busted. Unless it's this. I don't know what this is. Well, since I broke these, I'm just going to rebuild them. And do this a different way. Okay, now what I want to do is sketch on the top surface here. I'm essentially going to do exactly what I did before with the flange, except I'm just going to make them separate pieces. Oops. Okay, now features, extrude. I think I have thicken enabled. Yeah, I do. I don't know why. Oh, duh. These are not closed sketches. Okay, now they're closed sketches. Now I'm going to go features, extrude, 1/8 inch in the opposite direction. Now those triangles have become part of that flange, so if I do a flat pattern, you'll see that those are included in that flange. It's exactly what we want. Now I'm going to add another edge flange here, and this is going to be outside, and it'll be 1 inch long. I'm going to do that to, which edge did I select? Yep. All 4 of these. So now if we go and save this, go back into our assembly, not quite right. Oh yeah, because I don't have a butt weld there. So what I can do to remedy that, oh, and actually I think maybe we'll do it this way. We'll open up this piece and we'll change this edge flange to 1 1/4. There we go. Now those made up properly. So there's our trunk, our ice trunk, or chest rather. And the next step is to create the mounting plates for the casters. And we can do this in a number of ways. I'm going to create an L-shaped sheet metal part with a rib and then assemble it to the chest. So let's go back into SolidWorks, and let me bring this drawing up and put it over here so I can see what I'm doing. File, new, base flange, right side. Now I'm just going to draw an L. And I know my length is 6 inches. Oops. Make these equal. Okay. Bend radius is going to be, let's do 1/4 inch. Are we bending to the outside or inside? Let's go inside. There we go. We'll make them square. So we'll do another 6 inches mid-plane. And now I'm going to add a rib. And a rib just needs a singular line sketch. So we'll do front plane. Oops, no. Right plane. Right plane. And I'm going to connect from here to here. Finish my sketch. Go to features, rib. And the direction the rib is pointing, or the arrow is pointing, is the direction the rib is going to connect to the material. So I'm going to do a material thickness of 0.125, hit OK, and there's our rib. And then I can add the holes for our caster with the hole wizard. And let's do ANSI inch through holes for screw clearances, do a, oh here we want screw clearances, there we go, 3/8. This is just a guess, just so everyone knows. Up to next, positions, bottom of the flange. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 1 inch. The 1 inch. Okay, now I want this square is just for reference geometry, so I just want that to be construction lines. I'm going to fix my holes to each corner. Hit OK. Alright, so there's our flange. Now, just because I like detail, I'm going to add some fillets. Alright, save it. Now go back into my assembly. 1, 2. Actually, we only need 2. I'll show you a trick. We're going to mate these. Uh-oh, what's the problem here? That's from when I deleted those flanges earlier. It sees them as missing now, so I just got to reselect them. There we go. Okay, so mate this flush with this, and this flush with this. And then we'll go over here and we'll do a distance mate on these. Let's make that 6 inches in the opposite direction. And then same procedure on this one. Okay, next, going to do a mirror over the front plane, and that's going to be these 2 items. Hit OK. There we go. And that is our finished ice trunk. That's how I would go about modeling it. I hope this answers Tim's questions, and I hope it was educational, everybody. Have a good one.